this episode of Living Safe and Empowered. I'm Brett Lechtenberg, and I am the anti-bullying expert who will help you get rid of your bullying problems in 3 days or less. And today I have with me the anti-bully lawyer, Mr. Tyler Ayers. Tyler, thanks for coming today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great to have you again. We've got another great question and topic, I think, for parents and children. Tell our viewers what they can expect if their child retaliates against a bully, maybe on like a walk home from a park or something like that, and what the child could be looking at or what the parents of that child could be looking at.
Okay, so to just reframe the question, what we're really talking about is what a person, whether they're a child or an adult, what their right to defend themselves is.
Right. Across
the board in every state, as a matter of fact in most countries that I'm familiar with, we always have the right to defend our physical selves.
Right.
It's pretty common sense. I mean, you go back to Roman times, we've always had the right to defend ourselves.
Right.
And nothing changes in that with bullying. We have the right to defend ourselves. And I think the classic story that I think of when I'm thinking self-defense is A Christmas Story. When
sure.
When Ralphie's walking home from school and they told us about how Scott Farkas is the bully, you know, and he's got his little minion and that, and Ralphie winds up finally breaking and defending himself, and he has Scott Farkas down on the ground and he's pommeling him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what that does is that illustrates a couple of different things. Ultimately, Scott Farkas did physically attack Ralphie.
Right.
So Ralphie had an absolute right to retaliate with physical force. Now it goes back to you can't bring a gun to a knife fight. So had Ralphie been packing that day, he would not have legally been allowed to use his Red Ryder BB gun to shoot Scott Farkas.
Right.
Because Scott Farkas didn't bring a gun.
Right.
But if Ralphie believed that his life was in imminent danger, meaning he was about to be killed one way or the other, then Ralphie's right to defend himself with lethal force would have extended that far.
Sure.
Now, given the story as I watched it, and I think we've all watched it,
absolutely,
Ralph never had that right, but he did have a right to use physical force to defend himself. Mm-hmm. Now, where it gets kind of sketchy for Ralphie, though, is once Scott is on his back on the ground, and then Ralph keeps punching him in the face.
Right.
Even as the mom is watching. At that point, a reasonable person may deem that Ralph is no longer defending himself, but is actually, beating up right. Scott Farkas beyond what would constitute defense. But in most children-on-children bullying situations, personally, and I think this would be your opinion as well, I would encourage them to defend themselves physically if necessary.
Absolutely. If they have to, nobody should get hurt.
Absolutely right. Nobody should stand there while they get hurt, and even in defense of others. Now, you got to check your local laws, but in most places we're allowed to defend other people, mm-hmm. especially other loved ones. So if
right.
it's a family member, there are some exceptions to that, so we certainly want to look at individual circumstances. But in most circumstances, you can defend other people's physical safety as well. And it doesn't change just because it's in a bullying situation.
Right.
So I do encourage my kids to be capable to physically defend themselves. And then ultimately, if it gets to that point where there was some other kind of legal liability based on their defense, then as an attorney, I feel like I'd be on very solid ground to say that they had they were allowed,
mm-hmm.
they had a privilege
right.
to use this kind of force that resulted in that kind of damage.
Excellent. Well, Tyler, why don't you tell our viewers how they can get a hold of you, reach you, phone number, email, should they need your service or just want some advice?
Yeah, my phone number is 801-255-5555, just 801 because it's in Utah, 2 and then all 5s. You can always send me an email at tyler@ayerslawfirm.com or check out the website at www.antibullyLawyer.com.
Excellent. Tyler, thank you very much.
Thank
we appreciate
Brett.
you being here. As always, if you would like a copy of our free report for parents on how to handle a bullying situation at school, you can click the link below and get that free report. And until next time, I'm Brett Lechtenberg, and I hope you have a safe and empowered day.